Alright, so this is requested to kind of show how I made this in V-Carve Pro. I'm not real sure if it's just the toolpaths that you wanted to know about or if you wanted to know how I made the shapes as well, so I will go into both. So first I'm just going to show you the toolpaths. Let me unclick that here. Alright, so if I click on my pocket, right, it'll show you what I had highlighted in order to create that pocket. So I have all of this and his little arrow. It kind of looks like a pin to me, but you know, an arrow highlighted, so that way it would take out all of this, not this little pin, but all the stuff around it, and then also all the way out to that outer border that I have, which is actually my cutout line. But it's also working as a way to create these two raised areas as well as this raised area, if that makes sense. So in this one, if you look at the other one that's next to it, I don't have the border highlighted, right? I don't have it selected. So all I did was select this inner one, which then took all of that area out, and it took it down 0.15 with a 1/4 inch upcut end mill, okay? And that's pretty much all I did there. And then I go through and I do a V-carve. Oh, that's the cutout. So you can see how I cut it out is that final border. And I go on the outside of the border, not on the line. I go on the outside of the line using a 1/4 inch end mill. And then I have my clearance toolpaths. The majority of the clearance was all for this one right over here, because the stuff was just big, so it needed a clearance. And then it goes through and it does all the smaller stuff and then refines the lines on this side, and that was it. So yeah, in order to get these raised, you have to include that outside border, and then it takes out all the way to that outside border will be down, it will be taken out, milled out 0.15 or whatever depth you choose to have it at, as well as this inside area, except for this that I have, because if I didn't, then this would not be raised. It would have ended up being in the V-carve, but I wanted it to be raised, so I included it in the pocket toolpath. Let's see, and then how I made them is just with some rectangles. So we'll go with, let's just say 12 by 20, and I'm just going to place it right over there, and it looks like it's a little bit too big, so we're going to go with 10 and apply. Yeah, that looks about right. And then we're going to take, no, I want the circle. We're going to take the circle, try to find the middle of this. Here, let's see. Find the middle, take my circle, try your hardest to get it right in there, kind of do something like that. Alright, and then we're going to take the interactive trim, the little scissors, and there you go. Now I didn't have it centered. Darn it. Well, anyways, so you want it centered, but that's how you create the shape. And then you go with your offset, and we're going to go inwards. Oh, my bad. We're going to select, and then we're going to go offset, right? And offset again, and offset again. Now it looks really funny because I didn't get it centered, and that's okay. I might have used the oval. That's going to drive me crazy. Let's start over. Delete that. We're going to go here, create our rectangle. It's hard to remember what you've done. I really hope that's centered. All right. I'm gonna measure it. .25. .25. Okay, that's much better. All right. There you go. And then you can just go in, grab that, offset inwards, offset inwards, offset. Okay. So then you want to just edit your nodes. Now I went through and I smoothed all of those out, gave it more of a rounded feel on all of them, which is a lot of work. I also took both of these, and I'm sure there's an easier way to do this, but this is how I do it. And I scooted them over. That is too far. I use my arrows. There we go. So something like that. And you just keep playing with it until you have the shape you want. And until it is... In fact, I had 5. That's why this isn't looking right. But anyways, you get the point. You just kind of play around with it. Edit your nodes. Here, I'll show you what my nodes look like in here. Oh, I didn't do any of that. That's interesting. I did here. And I changed my shape a little bit. Like, I play around with a lot of stuff. I did keep some hard corners on there. With this one... Oh, I didn't fix that one either. That's funny. But anyways, with this one, I did go through and I deleted all of those lines. And I did it before I did the offset tool, which is probably why I didn't go through and do these. But anyways, I change my shapes with the tool and with the node editing tool. And with this one over here, you would just take... you would go like this. Okay, I'm in node editing, and I raise that up, and I smooth that, and then I create these points on either side. Do you see that? Bring these outwards like this. Insert a point, bring it back. Do you see how you just kind of adjust? Try to get in the same spot, insert a point, bring this out. Anyways, so there you go. And then, of course, you just go in so, and offset, and there you have it. You have your shapes, and then you're able to go through and do your pocket and carve it out. I don't remember step by step how I created them. This one right here is just circles. So you create your circles, and then you create some lines, and then you can go through and edit your nodes, and then it's in great shape. This one I hand drew, and I will show you how I did that. I go into the freehand draw, and you just kind of draw. And then you go through and you edit your nodes, so that way you have it the same on both sides. So there you go. We've got that mess made. Oh wait, let me go in here and do this real quick. Join your vectors, and then you're going to go in here and you're going to clip that off. Then you can go in and edit your nodes. I would just delete that one. Whoa, delete. Hey, let's see. Delete that one. You want to make a straighter line here. I'm going to go ahead and add one here, insert a point. So then you have, hey, what did I do here? Aha. One on each side. With this one, I would take, insert a point here. And right here, and then we're just gonna go like this. So I want this one to be kind of matching with that one right there. And then this one is gonna go kind of like that. This one is gonna go more straight, like so, and you just want to do the same thing on the other side and create this little shape here. And it's not perfect by any means, but it looks really great once it's done. So you just go through and you edit your nodes, and there you go. You have your shapes, and then you use whatever font you have with the draw text and just put it in there. So this little toolpath would not work, like these would not be raised right here, this and this and this, if you do not use this border. Okay, so when you highlight it, we'll just highlight the whole thing and then shift, don't highlight, don't highlight, don't, and don't, and then we have those selected, and that's how you get this one, and this one to be raised. So I hope that helps. It's actually fairly simple, and then you can still go through at the end after you've done your other toolpaths and click your border and do your profile toolpath and cut it all the way out. But just remember, whatever you take out right here, if you want to have words or names or whatever in there, you will want to start at that depth that you cut down to, that you milled the wood down to in your pocket toolpath. Okay, so I went down 0.15, which means that my starting point for this and this needed to be 0.15, and then I went down another 0.15 for those names and the words. Okay. But other than that, it's pretty simple. Pretty simple. This one took forever, by the way. Forever. Usually I'm like, it's not going to take that long. It took forever. So this says 6 hours, 24 minutes, and 36 seconds. It was somewhere close to that. I was like, oh my goodness. So yeah, it took a hot minute. And I know there's the 3D carves and all kinds of different things that take much longer. I know that there was, you know, there's some that are like 17 hours and all those things. It's not a quick process, but making them actually pretty simple right here in V-Carve Pro. So just so you know. Alright, so for this one was a lot of node editing and just playing around with shapes. Let me go turn off well, I can show you the pocket toolpath. Super easy. Oh, why is it doing that? Let me close. Alright, pocket toolpath. So do you see how I didn't highlight the border in this one? It's because I wanted this area taken out. So I just highlighted the inner line of that, and then I highlighted both the circle and the little hourglass thing. And so then in the end, because I went down 0.15 with a 1/4 inch upcut end mill, and it took out, you know, that material, and then I go in with this and I start, so my starting depth is 0.15, and then my flat depth, so the end point is going to be 0.15, and I just did a 60-degree V-bit. And then this one obviously is just my profile toolpath, which cuts it all the way out, and I go the depth of my material. So let's take a look, and we'll slow it down a little bit and preview what it does. So it's just going to go in there and do that pocket, that normal pocket, and takes just a little bit, and then it does the little hourglass. Then of course you switch your bits, do your 60-degree V-bit, and then you do your 1/4 inch end mill. I guess you could do both the pocket and the profile at the same time. I don't like to do that in case one of these tabs give out. It just scares me. I know, ridiculous, but I get nervous. So I'm like, no, I don't want it to get loose and like something happen, you know? So I wait and I do the profile last, just so that way nothing bad happens. Alright, so we got that out of the way. So now for this, let's look at our nodes on this. See, I did not, let me look at these ones. Okay, so I didn't really go through and fix a whole lot of those nodes, but it's okay because this is kind of what we're, whoops, that was way too big. I'm a dummy. We're gonna go with 4 inches. Apply. Wonder if 6 inches would be better. Does that look like it's, let me see. Ooh. Okay, that looks about right. It looks about right. It might be 5 inches. You're just gonna make a cross with a couple of these. Oh wait, I want the 10 here. And I want the 4 for the height, because it's gonna go this way. Okay. We want to make sure that's centered, and it is not. Yeah, that might look a little right. Let's check. Mm. 3.10. And it's not centered. Well, anyways, you want to get this centered. And then I added circles. So if you get in there and you grab your circle, right? And we're going to make that 4 inches and apply. All right? And then it takes up all of that. So we're going to make another one here and another one here, one right here, one right here, 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 and here. Okay. So we're going to close that, and then we're going to bring this over. You can use these things, whatever they're called, to make sure you have them even. And you do that to all of them. And then you just take your little snipping tool and you just snip all of that away. Right? Now, if I want to go into my node editing tool, I can really overemphasize all of this, right? Make it look all pretty. So you just kind of play around with the shapes, play around with the node editing, and the base of it, you just take your nodes. So I'm going to insert a point there, insert a point there. I'm going to bring that out. I'm going to bring that out. Now I'm going to smooth them. So I just put my mouse over that node and push S, 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 and S. Okay. Then I want this to be flat. I don't want it to be rounded, but I want these areas rounded. And so that's how you create that little bottom shape. It's just in the node editing. But anyways, so you go through and you create all of that, and then you offset it. Once you have your shapes the way you like them, then you're going to offset it using this to create that inner one. And I would just go 0.5. With this, I made the circle. So you just make your circle. And then you create a little rectangle. Oops, don't highlight the circle. I'm gonna go with, I'm just gonna draw it. Let me see. Let me go in here. We're just gonna make that, hey, you're supposed to be square. Apply, close. And then I'm gonna go into node editing, and there's these like almost invisible squares right there. I just grab them and I bring them in. And that creates, it kind of looks like a keyhole, but you know, kind of creates that shape right there. And then you got it. You got the shape you need. So that's that one created. Let me delete all of this. Alright, so for this one was really easy as well, as very much like the one we just did. So if I click this, you'll see that is the pocket. It just took all of that down, 0.15, and then I went to the 60-degree V-bit, or the 60-degree, or the V-carve with a 60-degree V-bit, and did the words, the name, and I started at 0.15 for my depth. That was my starting depth, and then it finished going down 0.15, and then the outer border is just the cutout. So let's go into this, and you see that's the only one that is selected. So it just takes all this out. If I would have selected this as well, then it would have just pocketed out right in here, and it would have left all of this raised. Okay, so that's pretty much all you want to do. Is it just depends on what you're selecting. Let's see, and then for making it was pretty simple as well. So we're just going to create a rectangle. We're going to go with, we'll say 18 by 24. Let's just see what that creates. That's way too big. I don't remember what the size of it was. We're going to go with 16 by 20. Alright, that's close enough. Alright, so now to make the shape, we're going to go into node editing, and there's that little invisible square right there. I don't know if you can see that. It's very small. You're just going to take that and pull it up. Kind of like so. I didn't go up that far. Let's bring it back down some. Try to keep it centered. Then we're going to go over here. We're going to insert a point. So I just right click on my mouse and I insert a point. And then we're just going to take this one out like this, and this one out like this. And there you have your shape. And then you just go inwards, 0.5, offset, and there you go. Now you have the shape. You can make it thicker, so you could go in 1 inch instead of 0.5. You could do 0.75, whatever you choose, whatever you like. And then whenever you go to do your pocket, you would just select that inner part right there. Only if that's how you want it done, if that's the shape you're going for, or the look you're going for. And then you just do the text, the draw text, and choose which font you like, put it all in there, and there you go. Fairly simple, except for, you know, the editing of the nodes and all those things kind of gets tedious, but that's how I do it. I don't really know how else to do it. So anyways, I hope that helps, and I hope you enjoyed it. If I didn't touch on anything, if you still have a question, please just leave a comment below. Yeah, and I will see you next time.